Hello friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Busybel. I'm a variety streamer and content creator, and I come to you today with an issue that has been plaguing the Stardew Valley community since the dawn of time. And no, I'm not talking about fishing. I'm talking about this thing, Clint, the nemesis of any Emily lover. Now, I'm a Penny stan, so I've married Penny in nearly every save. I've never really experienced or taken any interest in this man, that is, until I was reminded of this.
Oh my God!
So I shared my hatred of Clint on TikTok, and let's just say the response was overwhelming. This led me to question, is Clint just an awkward dude, or is there something worse going on here? Would ConcernedApe define Clint as just some awkward white dude, or would he characterize him as an incel? And what exactly makes the two different? So to understand what this icky word really means, we have to understand its backstory. Now, the word incel was created in the 1990s when a Canadian college student named Alana started a project called the Involuntary Celibacy Project. Let's read on about this history together. The purpose of this website was to help those struggling with intimacy and dating, to create a supportive community of both men and women who could share their anxieties about being inexperienced or feeling undesired. But in the early 2000s, spin-offs of the original forum started popping up, and these versions were less moderated, allowing extremely misogynistic views to persist and push the subculture towards more extremist ideals. Merriam-Webster defines incel as the following: a person, usually a man, who regards himself or herself being involuntarily celibate and typically expresses extreme resentment and hostility towards those who are sexually active. The People's Princess Wikipedia defines incel as a member of an online subculture of people who define themselves as unable to get a romantic or sexual partner despite desiring one. So based on these two definitions, we can gather the following qualities for certain: involuntarily celibate, typically a man, unable to get a sexual or romantic partner despite desiring one, and resentment towards the sexually active. Now, I wanted to go a step further in defining this word because these two definitions felt a little narrow to me, and they didn't really define the personality traits and harmful thought patterns that I've noticed in most incel subcultures. There has been some research done on the psychology behind incels, and this is what I gathered. One study found a common theme in incels is that they significantly overestimated the importance of physical attraction while underestimating the importance of intelligence, kindness, and humor. I've actually noticed this trend on my own For You page. There'll be like a pretty girlfriend and her nice boyfriend, and the caption will be like, "How is he pulling that?" And this is because incels believe that women want some man, alpha male, peak male form, pretty much this, when all we've literally ever wanted is this.
And you would trust Beyonce with your life.
Yeah, I trust Beyonce with my life. Riding with my surfboard. Bringing on that wood. I be bringing on that wood. We be all night.
The truth is, most women just want to feel loved and respected. We don't need a six-pack abs or fancy dinners every night. The problem is just incels are so chronically online, they truly believe women only want high-status men. That is not the case. The primary thing women want is to feel respected. When incels take these terrible thought patterns and truly believe that it's reality, only negative things can happen. So let's talk about this in psychology terms. Their own victimhood, aka being seen as undesirable, leads to an external locus of control, their belief that their circumstance is completely out of their control, and this victimization leads to the following characteristics: a lack of empathy, moral elitism, anxiety, loneliness, and depression. So I've been battling depression for over a decade now. I'm sure some of you struggle with depression out there as well, and I want to speak to this in a way that you might be able to understand better. When I was at my lowest point, I truly believed that absolutely nobody could relate to my suffering. This caused me to shut myself off to my entire family, my friends, just my network of support. That prolonged isolation only dug me further into the beliefs that weren't true. I do have control over my life. And once I hit rock bottom, I was able to pull myself out. The problem is, when incels are in this prolonged state of isolation and they find a community that essentially confirms all of their beliefs, they're not gonna hit rock bottom because they're going to seek support within those negative ideologies and only go further into their very, very, very destructive rabbit hole. So to summarize all the qualities we've gathered so far, we have the following. Involuntarily celibate, typically a male, resentment towards the sexually active, unable to get a romantic partner despite desiring one, overestimating the importance of physical attractiveness, a need for recognition, a lack of empathy, moral elitism, anxiety, loneliness, and depression. If you're new to Stardew, you probably don't know much about Clint besides the fact that he can crush some geodes for you. I'm here to give you some background. Clint is the local blacksmith in his 30s and 40s. He's written as being awkward, shy, and boring. And I mean that literally. His life is written as the most boring shit I've ever seen. Right away, you can sense his anxious and defeatist tone. You can sense his depression and that he's just generally unhappy in his monotonous life. Now, an anxious and depressed white man doesn't necessarily mean that you're an incel. And I honestly remember even feeling sorry for Clint when I first met him. That is until it becomes apparent that he's extremely obsessed with Emily. It is literally his only other personality trait aside from being. So who is Emily? Emily is one of the bachelorettes you can marry in town. She's speculated to be in her mid-20s, and I agree just due to her general youthful spirit. She loves fashion, spirituality, dancing, and she is quite literally always dancing to the beat of her own drum. So Clint hasn't expressed his direct romantic interest to Emily herself, but for some reason he feels completely comfortable telling the farmer when you're at her place of work. Let's watch together in agony, shall we?
Bruh. Bruh.
Bombastic side eye.
Bruh.
I'm sad and know ya. I'm
Bruh.
In this cutscene alone, we can clearly gather that Clint is unable to get a romantic partner, and he is involuntarily celibate. What I find interesting is how angry and annoyed his facial expressions are throughout this whole interaction, so I am going to drag over resentment towards the sexually active. And notice how Emily feels extremely comfortable talking to Shane, and their conversation flows nicely because he views her as a real human being with interests, and Clint can't even get a word out because he is so enamored with the character he's created of her. Unfortunately, it does get more creepy. When you reach 6 hearts with Clint, you will get this cutscene.
Bombastic side eye. Criminal offensive side eye. Do you understand?
Oh my god, bro.
Child. Anyway, so
Okay.
I mean, he's spying on her from the bushes. Clint also doesn't refer to this outing to Emily as a date. He runs to the farmer afterwards and calls it a date because he needs recognition, but he's too cowardly to tell Emily to her face that he wants this to be a romantic interaction. And if you need more proof that Clint is a loser who needs recognition, well, don't forget what he asked your farmer to do on the 6th of winter. He really wants Emily to know that amethyst is from him. Instead of making his intentions clear to Emily, he just fantasizes about her from afar and then gets upset when she doesn't submit to his extremely meek attempts. You can't use the excuse that he's just anxious. Remember, he is a grown man and he's had no trouble opening up to the farmer when he needed advice. If you're still not convinced Clint is an incel after Emily's 8 Heart event, I don't know what else to tell you because this is pretty compelling.
It made me appreciate white people because only they think of stupid shit like this.
What did he say?
Though we don't get any angry reactions on his face, he does say this. Ew. Remember when I said he treats Emily like some prize to win? There you go. And when you talk to Emily about Clint, the next thing she has to say is this. This just confirms to me that Clint doesn't even value Emily's feelings, because once the prospect of a romantic relationship is out of the question, he has no interest in how she's doing. I mean, this is the girl he supposedly liked for so long, and now he just doesn't care? That sounds like a lack of empathy to me. And my farmer took him to the movies, and this man moves on pretty quickly. Your Honor, it's this one. Get him. I mean, for someone who hides in the bushes because he's so scared of talking to this girl, he has no problem making a move here. So friends, based on my definition and research of incel, yes, Clint is an incel. And you're probably thinking, why would ConcernedApe write an incel into my cozy game? Stardew Valley has so many young players, and in my Clint slander post, I noticed so many of them just writing, it's not Clint's fault he's shy and awkward. And you're right, it is not Clint's fault he's shy and awkward. It's Clint's fault that he's a grown man and he can't express his direct intentions with a young woman. If Clint truly valued Emily's company, he would have no problem having a platonic relationship with her. But he never viewed her as that. He always viewed her as a romantic conquest or some prize to be won, and that is not how to treat women. With the ideology of incels only getting more common and dangerous online, I think it's important that we understand the red flags leading there, and Clint is a very good example of that. Like, if you put Clint in 4chan, it's over, he's done. Full on incel. I think even though most of us use RPGs as a form of escapism, video games at the end of the day are a form of art and storytelling, and ConcernedApe is a very, very smart creator. He knew what he was doing when he was writing Clint. He knew what he was doing when he was writing all of the characters. He created a nuanced story for us to analyze and use these examples in our day-to-day lives. Though it's a form of escapism, it doesn't exempt it from real-life analysis. I mean, this is a big issue, and I wouldn't be talking about it unless I played Stardew Valley, of all things, so thank you to ConcernedApe. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. It was my first video essay, and I'm really, really looking forward to creating more. If you have any more ideas, please feel free to comment below. I also stream on Twitch Wednesday through Friday and Sunday. I will leave all of that information in the description below. Thank you again for tuning in, and don't be a Clint.